Hey everyone, this is Matt Hendricks with the Grand Rapids Camera Club, and today I'm going to show you how to take an image like this that you're getting ready to submit to me to put in one of our galleries on our website, and how to put your name and a copyright symbol on it so that when people see it, they know it's yours. Now obviously there's a lot of different ways to do this, and so if you have a different way that you like better, that's fine with me. This is just my preferred method for if you're using Photoshop or Photoshop Elements. Now, the first time you do this, it'll take you a couple minutes to do the initial setup, but any subsequent times you use this method, it will only take you mere seconds. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up a blank document in Photoshop. Or Photoshop Elements. So, if you're on a Mac, you can hit Command N, and if you're on a PC, you can hit Control N on your keyboard. Now, I'm going to set the width to 400 pixels and the height to 200 pixels. The other thing I'm going to do that's important is I'm going to set the background to transparent. Anyway, once that's done, I'm going to hit OK, and here's my new document. Now, the one other thing I want to do before I get started on the new document is I want to make a copy of the copyright symbol, because I know I want to use the copyright symbol, but I can never remember what the keyboard shortcut is. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my web browser, and at the bottom of our website, we have the copyright symbol in the footer. So I'm going to highlight that, and then hit Command-C on a Mac or Control-C on a PC to copy that. Once that's done, I'm going to switch back over to Photoshop. So, once we're in Photoshop, what the idea is that we're going to type, or if you have a Wacom tablet, you could write whatever type of thing you want to say on your image here. So, for me, that's going to be the copyright symbol and my name. So, I don't have my tablet connected right now, so I'm just going to type it. So I'm going to hit T to select the type tool, and I'm going to make sure I'm centered, and I also want to change the text color to black. So once that's done, I'm just going to click in the middle to create a cursor. So now I'm going to paste my copyright symbol in by hitting either Command V on a Mac or Control V on a PC, and then I'm just going to put a space and type my name. So, once you've done this, you can hit Command A or Control A on a PC to select it all, and you can change the font, you can change the font size, anything up here. Just make sure you leave the text as black. Anyway, once you're all set with that, you can come up here and click to basically create the type layer. So, now, what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Edit, and come down to Define Brush Preset. Now if you have Photoshop Elements, if I remember correctly, I think that this might be called something slightly different, but you can still do it. Anyway, once I hit Define Brush Preset, it wants me to name my brush, and we'll just call this Copyright Brush 2. And we'll hit OK. So, that's all the setup there is to this. So now, from now on, anytime you want to use this, all you have to do is A, open up your image and do all your editing you want before this. You know, resize it if you want, sharpen it, crop it, whatever. Anyway, once you've got your image to the point where you want to stamp this on there, you're going to come down and select a new layer. Now you could just stamp right on your background layer, but you'll lose a lot of flexibility if you do that. So I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to hit B to select my brush tool. Now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to select the brush I just created, which is right here. And if I hover over it, you can see that eventually it comes up and tells me the name of the brush, so I know for sure that's the one. So once I've selected that, you can see that it's a little bit smaller than it should be. So I'm going to use the right bracket key on my keyboard, like you can do with any brush, to make it bigger. And if it was too big, you can use the left bracket key to make it smaller. So anyway, that's good for me. So I'm just going to make sure my new layer is selected, and I'm going to come down here, and I'm just going to click where I want it. Now, I don't think it looks very good in black, so I'm actually going to hit Command Z to undo that, Control Z on a PC, and I'm going to, with my brush tool selected, I'm going to hit D on my keyboard to get the default black and white colors down here, and then I'm going to hit X to switch them so that white is the foreground color. Anyway, now that I have white as the foreground color, I'm going to click again, and now you can see that I've got a nice white stamp there. Now, if I decided I didn't like that later, I could just get rid of that layer and it wouldn't be there. So that's one nice thing about layers. Now, the real reason I like to do it on the layer is because of all the other stuff you can do with it actually. So one, if you were to hit V and select your move tool with your new layer selected, you can move this wherever you want. So I'm just going to put it back in the corner there. And so I'm going to show you a couple things I like to do with it now. So one, if I double click outside the layer name here, brings up the layer styles. So I could apply a drop shadow, and we'll just make this drop shadow a little bit bigger for you so you can see it easier. And if I turn that off, you can see. So anyway, that's one thing you could do. Another cool thing I like to do is choose bevel and emboss, which kind of gives it a 3D effect. And you could leave it just like this. But what I like to do is go over here and go down to multiply instead of normal. And with that blend mode selected, it makes the white text kind of see-through over the image. So now they can still see the copyright symbol in your name, but they can also see the image. So that's another cool thing you can do with it. And of course, since it's on its own layer, you can turn those on and off as you want, or get rid of the whole thing later if you don't like it. But anyway, that's pretty much all there is to it. You just open up the new image, you select your brush, and you just stamp it on. If you want to do anything else on the layer, you can, and when you're done, you save it. So anyway, once you've finished saving your image, you can then make sure it's all sized and saved according to our gallery guidelines and send it in to me, and I'll get it up on the website. Also, feel free to let me know if you have any questions about how this works at webmaster@grcameraclub.org. Thanks for watching.